What's going on, guys? Huh? You like? Yeah, it's just what I do, guys. It's what I do. Come on, work with me, please. What have I done here? Oh no, look what I've done. 20 pounds, 25 pounds, 50 pounds of Joe sugar. Yeah, I went to Rural King. I called Rural King. What do you get for sugar? You got the 10-pound bag? Yeah, we got plenty of 10-pound bags. How much is it? It was 70 cents a pound, guys. 70 cents a pound. This I bought at Walmart, 63 cents. God, it didn't seem like it was that many years ago, guys. I was paying 16 cents a pound. I had to buy 1,000 pounds at a time, and it was a little drive. I had to go to High Springs, which is an hour or so north, but it was worth it. But storing it's a problem because you get that much, and I would just lay down. I'd stack it up in here on this concrete floor, but I'd lay down these heavy-duty trash bags, help keep the moisture off, right? And then I'd stack it up, but still it started getting hard in the bag, and you about need a hammer to bust it up once it starts getting blocked up. But here's a little tip here from old Steve-O on this. You get your metal can like this right here. While you're at the feed store, get one of these nice heavy-duty scooper dupers here. Metal feed scoops. That works nice. And then you line this can with these contractor bags. And this sugar, see, you got a little lump there, but it's nothing. It falls right apart. And here's a lump here. Nothing. It falls right apart. If you put this sugar on this floor or anything where outside moisture get to them bags, that stuff will harden up. But this here sugar, they're getting down low. I was buying 100 pounds, 4 sacks at a time. But I'm down on my bees now. I've only got 14 colonies. Only got 14 colonies in stock right now. And they're all queenless, but they are doing their thing. They're making queens. Hopefully, we'll see on the 11th of next month of April. We'll go in and see, but I may be going in earlier than that. Michigan Martin's down here. He comes down 6 months here and he's 6 months up there. And he brought 3 double stacked on his trailer, 3 double stacked 10 frames, solid bees. I mean, tons of bees. He brought down some of his best stock. And what he does, which is a great idea while he's down here playing in Florida, fishing and whatnot, and enjoying the sunshine, he makes queens. And he just started, he put in 44 grafts, guys, 44 grafts. I think Martin's getting good at this, guys, because I played this game, all right? 44 grafts, and he went in yesterday. He's got the cloak board. He does the cloak board system, okay? If you don't know what cloak board is, look it up. And he's having very good luck with that. But he got, out of 44, he's got 42 starts. Them bees have started 42 cells. So whether they make it to full, and he said one was sealed. So he said the larva was probably a little bigger or whatever, but yeah. So that's quite amazing that he's getting those numbers. But yeah, he's gonna throw some cells my way. I've got my incubator fired up. I've had it fired up for about 5 days now, and make sure it's functional, and it seems to be working great. So if I get any cells from Martin, they'll go in there. And granted that these hives right now are making queens. We'll see what they got. By the time I get in there to install virgins, these queens may have hatched. I'll look it over and see. If they have, they have. If I find a virgin running around in there, or a mated queen and she's laying, we will leave her with a frame, 2 frames of brood, and let her keep on trucking. Then I will steal out. I'm going to try to steal out 3 frames from the colonies and set up new nooks, 5-frame nooks, and I'll put 3 frames in. I could start it with 2 frames. May even do that. We'll just play it by ear. Let them sit for 24 hours queenless. I'll have them on site here. So I'll shut down the entrances. The bottoms of all my hives have screens. Nobody's going to suffocate. And then I'll put a pint jar on top with sugar water. And I'll come back as these queens hatch. See, I'll go out and make a box 24 hours ahead. Because I don't want these virgins sitting in this incubator long at all. I've got to feed them things. I got to feed them twice a day. I got to feed them morning and evening. And I just don't like, some guys can bank them queens for a long time in an incubator. I don't like doing that. I want to get them girls in their new home and get them set up and flip the switch to autopilot and let nature do its thing. And I will come back once I set that queen in there, that virgin in there. I'll come back in 3 weeks and check and see how she's doing. She should be back by then, probably way before then, but I like to give them 3 weeks, let her do her thing, and then come back and evaluate them. And they're already going to be in 5s. You know, a lot of these guys are putting these queen castles. Well, the queen castle has got what? It's got 2 frames in it. They're taking a 10-frame box and they're breaking it into 4 sections with an entrance going each way. They'll put colored disc on the hives, on the entrance hole. But you've only got 2 frames in that box. So it won't take long for her to fill that thing up and not have a place to lay. And I don't want that to happen. So anyway, yeah, so that's what I'm up to today. I'm getting this sugar. Miss Daisy and I went out to Longhorn. Thank you, One Blood. I gave another pint. I go in now. I'm on TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, and if you guys 40 years of age and older, you need to be getting that checked. And Steve-O says get that thing between 600 and 800, your T level, your testosterone level between 600 and 800. I normally run anywhere in there all the way up to 950. It roller coasters. It will. You're injecting weekly, but you just feel better, guys. You're able to get out and do what Steve-O does, okay? Hunt, walk every day, work the bees, okay? And that's what it takes. A higher T level to keep your energy level up and all that. Now, once you start it, you got to do it for life, okay? No big deal. What you got to do for life is donate blood, because what happens, your blood will thicken, all right? You don't want thick blood. I don't know if you remember years ago, they had, the attorneys were just having a ball with this, Guys were dropping dead because they were on TRT, because their blood was thickening and they weren't donating. I don't know if these friggin' doctors knew anything about it. I don't know. It's crazy. But you gotta donate. And for me, my hemoglobin, when I get 15 or higher, it's time to donate. Well, I found out the last 2 months, it only takes me a month. Only takes me a month to get to about 16. This time I was 16.1, and the time before that I was 16.2, and I go right on up to 17 if I wait 2 months. Well, at 17, your blood is thickening, okay? And I talked to the girls down there, and the girls go, that's, you're getting, you hit 15 plus, you're starting to thicken. So what you're doing is perfect. You're getting an oil change every month. So what happens there, I get a free t-shirt, guys. I get a free t-shirt. I get a bottle of water. I get a cookie if I want it on the way out the door, but no cookies for Steve. No. We do not ingest this stuff here, guys. See this? This is as addictive as cocaine. And it is pure poison in the human body. Is anybody on planet Earth, guys, is anyone on planet Earth talking about this other than old Steve-O? Think about it. Sugar is poison. It's not even considered a food, all right? This thing, guys, I've eaten, honey is wonderful for you. Honey is not bad for you if you have a condition like a flu virus or whatever, and you can mix up a little tonic with a little Christian Brothers brandy. If you've got a sore throat, you got this stuff coming in, kicking your ass, you can take that, a little honey, about an ounce of Christian Brothers brandy, and mix that together with a little bit of water and shoot that down. Put a little bit of lime juice in there. It's fantastic for kicking ass on viruses. But no, this stuff here, guys, is poison. The bees love it. They're designed to eat it. God made those things to pollinate the flowers, right? And they get a little extra treat. They get the nectar. They get the pollen, right? And then they go to the trees, the pine trees, and they collect resin. They shellac the entire inside of that colony to protect it from viruses. Pretty smart stuff, guys. Pretty smart stuff. So they're designed to eat this white cocaine, I call it, but you're not. And the reason these doctors don't tell you, these corrupt doctors, Big Pharma does not tell you that we have to have these little talks, guys. Every time I talk to you, we got to have these little talks, guys. I just keep pounding it into your skull, constantly pounding it into your skull so you get it, okay? Most people don't get it. I have a lot of family members and friends that don't get it. They get up every morning or run to the refrigerator. They grab that big old thing of OJ. They pour a big old glass of OJ. They thinking that's wonderful. It's got vitamin C. It's wonderful. That stuff is nothing but pure sugar. It's poison. Then they run over there and they get their big old box of Captain Crunch. I see there now the government. You get this, guys. They're telling us now. This is how corrupt and crazy things are. They're telling us now that Cheerios and Fruit Loops are better for you than bacon and eggs, okay? This is where we've come to, guys. The corruption, the greed, and the nonsense. Just follow the money with these corrupt clowns that are running this country right now. Absolutely, totally off the chart corrupt. And they're not looking out for you. The only one's looking out for you is Steve-O, okay? I'm the only one looking out for your Heineken, okay? These corrupt leaders that we have now want nothing to do with you but your money that they're going to piss away and waste. So we're not putting up with it, okay? We're going to move on and get rid of these clowns, okay? We can do it. We got good people out there. Just open mind, keep it opened up, keep thinking, watch where the money goes, and you'll know what's happening. So with that, I'm going to load this sugar up, and then I got to get out back. Let's get some. If it works out, Martin's going to throw me some cells. So what I want to do is get ahead of the game. I got frames. I got a few frames here. I got a bunch of them out back. I got to we'll get the 5 framers, make sure the entrances are shut down, because we're going to do this on site. we're going to load these up with virgins. We're going to do this on site. I could haul them to another yard, but why bounce them around in the truck when I can do it here? It's just a 3-day lockdown on these entrances, because we'll rob from Peter to pay Paul, and we'll lock down these girls in this box so they don't just turn around, fly over here back to their home base. We'll lock them down for 3 days. They won't know where they're at. On the next day, 24 hours, we'll come in and insert a virgin. All right? And cross our fingers that she gets out, mates, comes back. I got a lot of bluebirds here now. They're building nests in these boxes and stuff. I just like to see the bluebirds. I mean, granted, they're bumping off some of my queens. They'll grab a queen in a heartbeat. They're bug eaters, guys. So, but I think they're useful because they get a lot of the garden pests and stuff and whatnot. So let's get this in. Let's get the sugar in the tub. Stuff flowing nice, ain't it, guys? See how that stuff flows? It's nothing but pure cocaine, baby. It's pure cocaine, and it'll get you high as a kite. You'll be on a sugar high, baby. You eat that stuff. Guys, I've been totally carb free now for, well, since the beginning of the year. 2023, guys. $2023 for Steve-O. Zero carb. All right, what I do now is just fold this over. This little can here, by the way, guys, let me get my, this little can right here is, I got it at Lowe's, I think. This can is 23 inches high, and the inside barrel here is 16 3/4, 17 inches. That can will hold 100 pounds, okay? So if you're a small, and that's it, you throw the lid on it. Yeah, that'll for my size operation, for a small operation, you could go, you know, you could run 50 nukes or so, but I normally like to, I'm gonna try to get to 40 nukes. Got a guy and he bought some nukes from me. I've sold a lot of nukes this spring, but I'm down to 14. So I need to retain what I have left. The phone's still ringing. I took the ad down. The phone is still ringing. And the phone is still ringing, but I need to retain stock here so I can build back up. You know, it's kind of like Arnold's rug, you know. If you like Arnold, he only had one rug. He had rug sale out, you know. And there he had that one rug there, and some guy pulled in. He says, well, how much, I like that rug, how much is it? He said, well, it's $50, but I can't sell it to you. He says, well, why can't you sell it to me? You're in the rug business. I am, but that's the only rug I have, so if I sell it, I'll be out of the rug business. So, and that's basically what I'm in right now, Steve-O's bee business. So you got to have retained bees enough so you can build back up. So I'm not going to kill myself with these bees. I'm going to work real smarter, not harder. And what we'll do is raise enough bees to sell every spring. Got a guy in Floral City, about an hour or so north. He saw my ad and he came down and bought one nuke. That's all I had left at the time. And he said, when are you going to have more? I said, probably not till end of February. He said, excellent, keep my number in stock. I want to buy everything you got. I'll buy everything you got. You only need to make one phone call, and I'll be here, and I'll scarf up everything you got. I said, okie dokie. So my deal has been, $100, $120. You bring my box back, I give you $20 back. So I'm sure we'll be playing box games. That's good too, because I won't have to rebuild more boxes. And this is a hell of a nice box. You'll see them out here in a minute. Yeah, and you guys can do the same thing I'm doing. Here's a homemade table saw, guys. I do all of my woodworking on. It's got a skill saw in there. I burned up one skill saw, but I burned out a truckload of wood, made beehives, with that other skill saw. And you just go to Harbor Freight, you buy another El Cheapo skill saw. I've got like 3 extra around here. If that burns out, I just unbolt. There's 4 screws holding that thing in. Take them, shoot another one in there, and I'm good to go. A homemade table saw, because you're only making very simple cuts. You don't need to make anything. You've seen my boxes. If you don't, go back and look at them. I'll show them to you here in a minute. And then, of course, I have a chop saw. I have a chop saw. It's just a chopper. It's not a sliding one. And that thing refuses to burn up. I've run miles of lumber through that chop saw. It was a cheap rig. Harbor Freight. Right? It won't burn up. If it does, I'm going to spend a couple extra dollars and buy the one that's a compound slider job. But I really don't even need a fancy one, because I can do it all. On the 2x8s, I get the 2x8s. I buy usually 2 of those at a time and chop those up. I'm only chopping 10 inches at a time. And then I cut that frame rest on there, because those are the ends. I cut those 10 inches. So I buy a 10-foot board, and it works out perfectly on the cuts, so I don't waste any lumber. And it's a little bit short on the end, but that works out cool, because I can use that as an entrance board on the end. So you don't waste any material other than the sawdust you're creating, right? And then I use pallet wood. I get free pallets over the flooring store over here. I got a speedy way of processing that stuff, guys. I mean, a speedy way. Here's my little workstation right here. Right here. I assemble it here. I cut a pile of wood here, those for the sides, and I set up on this bench. I got a Phillips head there, DeWalt, and I've got another one there with a 1/8 inch bit in it for piloting. I've got those cans sitting there with sand in them. They're at the perfect weight. You put enough sand in there, it's a perfect weight for those to slide up and down. You let go of your motor, and it just comes back up and sits there out of your way. So it's right there in your face. Super fast way to assemble these things. It's the simplest box. You guys see my box out there with all those guys with all the what do you call it, box joints. Been there, done it. What a pain in the ass. Okay, with Steve-O's plan, you don't need that. Granted, it's a little bit longer box. So if you want to utilize an excluder with this program, you're going to have to add a piece of excluder, but that's no biggie. You buy the cheap plastic ones. You cut them with tin snips. You use Gorilla Tape and add an extra little piece there. Gorilla Tape it on both sides. You got an excluder will outlive you, okay? So that's some of the little tricks that I do. And you can do this a small operation like mine. But if you're a young little whippersnapper with say like 1,000 testosterone level, like I used to be back in my day when I first started bees, oh yeah, you can burn out. You can make a living doing this, guys. A living doing it. But you got to have some property here in Florida now to do it commercially. You need to buy a piece of ag land. Okay, buy a piece of ag land. And get at least 10 acres, and then you can have as many hives as you want. Ain't nobody gonna screw with you. You can have as many hives as you want. So you can get going with that. You can set yourself up. We get you a pole barn, cheap pole barn, put it up. You can put you a bedroom in the back with an AC unit in it, right? You can live in that shack until you build up to where you can build you a house. But you can set up this thing like I'm telling you, and you can sell these bees. Right now, they need bees bad. I imagine some of these guys threw in the towel. When that hurricane came in right there in September, Ian, whatever, it just went through Fort Myers down there, Northport and all that, and just tearing the place up. And it drowned a bunch of bees, put them underwater. So I imagine some of them just said, oh, I'm done, and throw in the towel. But a lot of them are, they can't throw in the towel. They still got to make a living. And a lot of these are migratory beekeepers. These are the same guys that are going all the way to California and pollinating almonds. Then they come out of there and they'll go to Maine and Mass and they'll pollinate blueberries and cranberries. Then they come back to Florida, a lot of them, and winter here in September. You can get the Brazilian pepper down there. That's what they were going for, Brazilian pepper down there, down there in Fort Myers, along in Northport, all those areas, Pine Island, all that area in there is loaded with Brazilian pepper. Make 100 pounds per hive, no problem. Then if you can find a location further south down there where the punk trees are, I call them punk, it's Metaleuca, and it comes from Australia. It's a paper tree. They call it a paper tree in Australia. That thing you can put on another 100 pounds of honey on that crop. It's pretty predictable. It's actually more predictable than orange blossom honey, because that was always an iffy crop for me. I did quite well on it, but it was always an iffy crop. And you got to move your bees around a little bit. You can go to, if you can find an area up around Gothi, Gulf Hammock area to my north. I'm in Newport Richey. It's an hour or so north. You're into bear country. You got to electrify your fences and all that. But yeah, got my ass kicked really big up there by a bear one time. I didn't. My hives did. I lost 16 hives. Oh man, they were stacked up, guys. I was just about ready to harvest too. They were stacked up, 4 shallow supers each, slam full. Them bears ripped through my hives and just, a blind man could have fouled them by braille. I mean, the equipment was scattered all through the swamp going out through there where they'd come in. And them bees were trying to tear their face off, and they'd grab a frame or two and run to the swamp and eat it, tear the center out, just demolish the frames, just great big fang marks and everything, busting everything up. But anyway, you can make a lot of honey there. So with 4 moves a year, a lot of guys are doing pollination. Blueberries are getting getting a lot of blueberries in Florida nowadays. Yeah, guys, you could make a living with these bees. You're not going to get rich. You can make a decent living with it, and you're going to be your own boss. And yeah, so it's a possibility that you can make it work. But we've got a pretty good governor here now, and what's happened now, you've got such crappy governors in these other states like California, up north, Michigan, all these left-wing nut jobs, okay, that are destroying the friggin' state, absolutely destroying it. Because why? Because they're greedy, they're corrupt, and that's all it is. That's all it is. They're not looking out for you. They talk a great game, okay? All these guys, they talk a great game, but they're all in it for themselves. And once they have that position of power, they take and corrupt that power. I've seen it my entire life with different businesses and people that I've worked for. They're really down to earth, but then as the business gets up and things start rolling, then the corruption comes in and you just see it, okay? The theft and the stuff that goes on. Yeah, so that's where we're at. So what I'm saying is, if you were to come to Florida and look for that 10-acre piece of ag land, you're going to be paying some big money for it, because people are flooding in now to this state to get a little piece of the country or whatever, and Property prices have gone crazy. This piece of real estate I'm sitting on right now is probably gone up threefold from what I bought it. Okay. So there's no way I could sell here and move somewhere else, whatever. I guess I could sell here and just get a motorhome and ride around. I could do that, yeah. I don't know where I'd put bees, but anyway, I'm just rambling on here. So I need to get out back. We'll start putting up some boxes on the rails, get them loaded with frames, get everything set up so you're not running around the last minute. Okay, where do I put this queen? Let's get things set up and prepared and ready ahead of time. And if you're working bees, that's the best way to go. Don't be fooling around here at the last minute. Oh, jeez, I need a box. I got queens. I got swarm cells. I got to have another box to put them in. Yada yada, and you don't have a box. No, get that stuff built. Build lots of it. Build whatever you can afford. Get lots of stuff. If you plan on doing this, you know, to make money at it, you gotta have lots of extra equipment on standby, ready to rock and roll when you need it. You cannot wait, because these bees aren't waiting for nothing. If this nectar's coming in, and if you're feeding bees, it's going to happen. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. They are going to fill out these hives and be busting at the seams, and you're going to have to get them, break up those colonies and get them into more colonies, or you're going to lose them. They're going to swarm, right? So you can do that. You can just sit and let them swarm off and hope to heck this new virgin that's coming back into that box that just swarmed makes it, because if she don't, that hive's going to be dead as a donut. Okay, so you have to be on top of things, have enough equipment to where you can keep rolling and keep these bugs in a box. All right, so let's go out back and start setting up a rail and getting ready for more bugs. Okay guys, I'm in here in the old grafting shack getting this frame set up. Haven't seen these for a year. These are California mini cages, and what you're going to do here is take your queen cell. It's going to be hanging way down here, and you slide it inside your California mini, and then I take a couple. I just made this frame up. This custom fits in my incubator here. And I think I can get 15 in here at a time, whatever. So whatever cells I can get, I put in here. I'll probably try some grafting later on this summer, if I get a really exceptional queen that I like. And she shows a lot of good gentleness, egg laying. That's about all I can evaluate now. I can't evaluate nothing until about October 15th, when the pepper stops. Then I can evaluate how much honey did this colony bring in. That's proof in the pudding there. How much did they bring in, you know? So I'm just doodling around here. I want to get this frame in. Kind of cool today. It was like 58 degrees this morning, I think it was. So it's warming up to, I don't know, it's going to warm up to about 68 today. And this will probably be most of the end of it. It's going to be hell heat from here on, I would think. I don't know for sure, but anyway. Yeah, I'm just getting some of the cobwebs out. I got a little old bamboo skewer here. And I just, at the end of the season, I just throw them up here on the bench, and they get cobwebs in them, spiders crawl in them, whatever. So I'm going to cleaning them out, blowing them out, getting ready for my new baby girls to come in here. Then I load them up in my frame here. I turn them, put them in, and then I turn them. As soon as I do that, puts a little tension on. This is 30-pound mono. I got 2 lines of it here. And I just drilled a hole through here, and then came around and put a little pin there and hammered it in. So I just load this thing up. Load this thing up with these cages. I'm a small operation, so I can get away with a small, you know, small amount of queens and a small incubator. Now, once you get commercial, you're going to need an incubator the size of a refrigerator, okay? Just some thoughts. As you get bigger, you grow with it. I've never had more than 250 colonies, but most of these commercial guys are running thousands of colonies. So those days are gone for Steve-O. We're not doing that, no. We have downsized. We have downsized. All right, I'm going to give Martin a little care package here. I've got a lot of extra Chinese grafting tools, and you guys buy these things. They make them. Man Lake has got these. And a lot of them have a plastic plunger here. See this little plunger here? You got this little plunger, a spring here. This thing, see the way that works? And what happens, you can go down in the cell, actually in the beehive, in the cell, and you get out the smallest larva you can get. And the beauty of this thing, you put it in your mouth and you warm it up. I'm thinking this is a feather quill, but I'm not sure. It could be a piece of plastic, but the way it looks and way this is looking here, it looks to me like they take it out of a chicken feather or something. I'm thinking. I may be wrong. But that is really flexible little tongue. See that little tongue on there? And that slides right down the edge of the cell, and you can go right underneath the larva and you lift it out. Then you come over to your grafting cell and you put that down in there and you push real slow, and it pushes that larva right, it slides right out on there like a little ramp. Yeah, slides right out and deposits it in the bottom of the cup with the same position you pulled it out of the comb. If you flip it over, it'll drown. You have to take it out and redo it. So, anyway. So I had a few extra of these. I will let Martin have these so he can play with that. I think he grafts off and on all summer, but I'm not sure. So yeah, as these hatch, you're gonna, I keep real close tabs on these queens. When they hatch, a lot of times they get stupid and they'll go right back, stick their head back up in that cell, and they'll die in there. They don't seem to back up out of there. When they hatch, their head is this way, down. So they hatch and they come out of that cell right on into this cup. And sometimes they get stupid, turn around, and they get hungry too. And they go back up in there, and there's going to be royal jelly up in those cups. They go back to get another hit of that. And they get stuck in there and die. So what I do, I take the cup that they came out of. Say this cup is in there like so. There's a cell hanging down. Little peanut, and they're going to open up and they're going to crawl out. They'll flip around a lot of times and go back in there, and that's where they get in trouble. Well, I'm out here twice a day checking these things. Because if I see, I can see that they've hatched. The end of that cell is sticking in there, and the little flap door will be open. Sometimes that little flap door is laying in the bottom. They chew all the way around. They drop that cap in the bottom. Sometimes it's like a little hinge that just opens up. But so I take it out. If she's stuck in there, I'll carefully take a tool. I take my little pointed bamboo, and I very carefully, right next to her butt, I'll start peeling away that that wax seal away from her. Be careful you don't damage her. You damage her, she's worthless. You might as well smash her. Be very careful. Pick her out of there. And then you've got the cage there. Once she's out crawling around on your fingers, you just herd her back in the cage. And then clean this wax off of this extra wax, so she can't get up in there and get trapped. But there'll be a little royal jelly left in there. Leave that for her. Let her crawl in there. Keep your finger over it so she stays down. And when she's down at the bottom, go ahead and stick that in there as a plug and push it in there. It fits perfectly in these minis. That cell fits in there perfectly. So now she's trapped in there. Get you a jar of honey and take a little tool like this and dip it in just one drop. Don't get crazy with this. One drop, and put one drop of honey on that screen right there. And then get you a little syringe. Here's a testosterone syringe that I use for injecting testosterone. Or get a little insulin syringe like this. I use this to inject Trimix. Look up Trimix. I use it. Miss Daisy loves it. You can use this as and put one drop. Don't squirt a bunch of water in here. Put one drop on that screen right there. So you got a drop of honey, drop of water. Do that twice a day. That'll keep your queens going. That's going to keep your queens going while you are rigging up and getting your nukes ready. So what I'm going to do with this now is put it in here so it'll pre-warm. I've got my jar of honey in there. That's my feed jar. It's warm. It's 93 degrees in this box. It breaks at 94. It shuts down. These two bulbs are shut down. Always have two bulbs in your incubator, guys. Always two bulbs. Yeah, this thing has worked absolutely fantastic right here. It's very simple setup. Very simple. It's so simple, it's stupid, okay? You've got 3 lines coming out of this thing, right? You've got a power line coming out into the unit. You set it what you want. I've got it at 94 off, 93 on. So that's how I keep this thing. I have to have this in here going, and I've got it set at 73 right now. This stays on all summer while I'm doing incubation, because this barn in here, and I've insulated it. I've insulated this thing to where it stays a nice temperature in here. This thing don't labor hardly at all. I got it on eco-friendly anyway. This thing don't cost me nothing to run. No, it don't cost nothing to run. Anyway, that will keep it below my temperature. This building will get up to 98 in here, or 100 degrees if I didn't have that. This tin barn, there's no insulation, but even if there was insulation here, it would still be too hot to try to incubate. It's too hot, so you've got to cool it off. So build yourself a small miniature room like this, and it'll keep things comfortable for your queens. And that way you can keep the room ambient temperature around 73, and then your incubator temperature will be correct, so it don't override and cook your queens. Here's a nice little thing you can melt. Get one of these little foam blocks, mattress foam, and get your little wood burner thing and melt little holes to where your cells will go in there for transporting queen cells from one place to the other. Here's an additional frame here. You can do the same thing with this one. You could do exactly the same thing with this one. You can let queens hatch off. And I don't use this one. I set this one up. Here's a couple of coat hangers in here I threw in just to hold these. Here's a piece of, there's a 30-pound mono. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in this little frame. Depending on the width of your thing, you know, you could rig up, but this I had to make these special frames in order to go on these ledges here. And I think I can get 3 in here, 3 of these frames. So I could put a lot of queens in this thing. I think there's 15 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, I could put 15 on there. So that's a lot of queens. I mean, if you put 3 frames like that in here, but I don't do that many. Anyway, that's that. And I made up my cell bars here that I can make in grafting bars. These are all clean, ready to go here. I put queens in there. I had to make a special frame here to go in, see? And of course, when they go in, they'll be hanging like this until the day or two days before they hatch. And then I take them off of here and put them in this so they can hatch in these cages. I don't want, I've larvae too old, and I've had queens running around in here. I've had to catch and put in because they will run around and kill every one of these queens if you don't do it. So these ends come out, and these ends are adjusted perfectly to go inside and sit on the ledges of inside your hive on the frame rests. So I've got quite a few of those for grafting. Keep a pan of water in here to keep your humidity up. But this is a little $40 unit I got. It's a wine cooler. You can get these, find them on Craigslist or wherever. Any place they sell this stuff. They probably get trade-ins or whatever. You can get these really cheap, and then you get larger models. And if you get commercial, most of the commercial guys use refrigerators, old refrigerators that broke down, and they use those as incubators. And you can do it with the light bulbs. Light bulbs are cheap. I've got extra light bulbs over here. I burned out one bulb. These things have been running all summer long. I had them running all summer long. And the little 40-watt bulbs, clear bulbs. These are the, I wanted clear, and because these heat up, and they heat up good. That's what you want. And these things, I mean, they just last forever, guys. I mean, it's ridiculous how long they last. Anyway, I've got plenty of those bulbs on standby. I've got plenty of cages. I got plenty of introduction cages. I've got plenty of cages to put queens into. But I don't sell queens here. I just try to hatch them and get them in a nuke. That's all I do. So anyway, let me get out here and start setting up the rail. So we've got I got frames all over the place here. We'll just set up, see how many we got. I may have to order more frames. If you order frames, I understand now. I'm thinking it was $100, anything over $100. Free shipping, but now I think Man Lakes are hitting you up with $150 in free shipping. But even at that, buy up $150 worth, buy extra frames, whatever it is to get yourself above the free shipping deal, okay? All right, let's go out here and get something done. Stop talking. Bees are working good, warming up. They are drinking syrup, guys, like crazy. Wow. All right. They're working. They're still a little pissy. This is what I got left here, supplies. I got all this stack here. These are all ready to go, other than I've got to get screens, get these over. I'm going to just get them over here on this rail. I'm going to start loading this rail up. I'm not necessarily going to put them here. If I put them here, I'd put one entrance one way, one the other down through, but I'm going to just start scattering them around. I've got spots all around in the woods and everything. And here's our supers. These are supers that I stole off of a lot of these boxes I had. So these are supers that'll go on toward fall. We can start making a little honey and let them expand. But right now we've got these. These have got the floors in them and everything. And they'll be ready for bees. Mating nooks, what these are. Here's some more. So I've got quite a few. And we're going to fill them up with bees. Thank you, please. Okay, guys, things are moving along here. What I'm doing is getting all the boxes out of stockpile. Anything like really bad warped lids or rotting lids, throw them away. Making sure I've got a plug for each one, plug for each hive. I'm putting a screen on here, and because when we transfer these bees over, here's one here that the bees can get out. Let me put, now they can't get out. And after 3 days, I'll come in with a thin blade screwdriver and slide in and pop these screens out so they can fly. But I make sure everything's got 5 frames in them. They got a lid, they're ready to go. And then the only thing I got to do, if you do have warpy lids, bees are getting out, get your shrink wrap it up. That's all. Nothing special. But make sure all your screen doors or your doors are locked down so bees can't get out. And just start going through, get everything stacked up and ready to accept bees. And that way your ducks are in a row, bro. Alright, that's all I got for you today, guys. Bees are flying nice. They got virgins coming back in to a lot of these, and what don't have a virgin in, there's enough bees in here to protect the boxes from wax moth invasion and whatnot. I've got beetle barns and everything. I've treated for mites. We're going to treat for mites. Treat for your mites in the spring. Treat for them in the fall. Let them go into winter mite free. Them mites carry lots of viruses. We don't want them in the hive. This shenanigans of, oh, the bees will take care of themselves. Yeah, right. Been there, done it. Don't believe it. Ain't doing it. I treat the bees, and you should too. Thanks for coming by old Steve-O's base camp, and I will see you on the next one. Keep busy. Do your 2-mile hikes, go on a carnivore diet, get your testosterone checked, stay away from the left-wing nut jobs, and you know what? Your life is going to be turned around, and it's going to be a beautiful world, guys. I'll see you on the next one in old Steve-O's world. See ya.